to The Shoreline, brought to you by Shores and Islands, Ohio, where finding your Lake Erie love is a sure thing. Thank you for joining us. We bring you The Shoreline each week to give you the inside scoop on everything happening here in our island and coastal communities. I am Jill Bauer, PR Manager for Shores and Islands, Ohio, and joining me as co-host today is my friend Brian Shiflett, who is also the Visitor Services Manager at our Port Clinton Welcome Center. Thanks for joining me, Brian.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Halloween is coming up this week. We're pretty much done with most of the fall harvest activities for the most part, except for Halloween. But just want to remind folks that Cedar Point did add 3 extra days to their schedule this year for Halloween weekend. So they will still be open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week. And we're looking forward to 2025 and their new coaster coming out next year, the Siren's Curse. Ooh, are you going to ride it, Brian?
I watched the video with that tilt. I don't know. It might be the first coaster that I might pass on. I don't. We'll see when it's actually built. I'll take a look and decide.
For me, it will be the 15th coaster that I pass on. I am not a rider. We've had Tony Clark on the podcast a couple of times, so I don't feel bad saying this. I think he knows I'm just not a coaster person, but there are lots of other things about Cedar Point that I love. So definitely looking forward to that. And as you know, Brian, we are in the middle of producing the 2025 Play and Stay Guide. So we really are, we've been previewing a lot of great things that are to come in 2025. Anything on that list that jumps out at you that you're looking forward to?
Oh, geez. For 2025, I'm looking forward to getting the Play and Stay Guide done because I'm excited for that this year. I think it's going to be even better than the one for this year. I mean, especially, I actually am looking forward to the Siren's Curse. That's the first time I've ever seen a tilt coaster. I didn't even know what it was. So as much as I may not ride it, I might stand and watch it for a little while because it looks really cool.
For sure. One of the things that is featured in the upcoming travel guide, what we're talking about, is the Aquatic Visitor Center at Put in Bay, which will be reopening in 2025. And that's something that I think I'm looking forward to. And we've got a whole feature editorial on it. Brian and I have been working on a lot of the editorial and the fun pieces that you'll see. And Brian's been working on all of the not so much fun things that you see in the guide, all the listings and charts. And
they're very important things, though. I mean, we need to know that information. So.
Absolutely. So we are working hard to get that published and get it out. You can start requesting it now on our website if you're planning ahead for 2025. And we do still have copies of the 2024 Play and Stay Guide because we've still got 2 months left in this year and lots of fun things coming up. Make sure that you follow on our social media accounts. That's probably where you're going to get the most current information. And of course, on our website. On what's going on. But on all our social media, you'll see upcoming events and things that you can do. You know, we get to this time of year and we get a lot of what's open questions. You know, where can I go? What can I do? Can I still go visit the islands? You know, those kinds of things. We'll be addressing all of that via our social media. And make sure that you guys are following along. You can find all those links on our website, shoresandislands.com. Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about the art scene, specifically in Port Clinton. The Arts Garage is an art and cultural destination for artists and art enthusiasts with working artists, art exhibitions, and a variety of classes and other special events for all ages. Joining us on the shoreline today is Barbara Radabaugh. Barbara has been involved in the arts community in Ottawa County for many years as a member of the Port Clinton Artists Club and the Greater Port Clinton Area Arts Council. She was president of the Port Clinton's Artists Club for 2 years and show director for Arts in the Park for 4 years, and has served on many committees during her 17 years as a member, including chairing 2 PCAC shows at the Arts Garage. For the Greater Port Clinton Area Arts Council, she coordinated the very first exhibit at the Arts Garage, which is also affectionately known locally as TAG. So if you hear us say TAG, we're talking about the Arts Garage. It was a very successful Eddie Adams photography exhibit, and she served briefly on the board. She recently spearheaded the committee to raise funds to create a sculpture of Tuskegee Airman Lieutenant Colonel Harold Brown, which will be housed at the Liberty Aviation Museum. In her professional career, she worked entirely for nonprofit organizations, Goodwill Columbus, Easter Seals, and Otterbein Marblehead Retirement Community. Her responsibilities included fundraising, event planning, and public relations. Right after my own heart. Welcome to the podcast today, Barb.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Good.
We're happy you're here. And I'd like to put a shout out to Barb in the Port Clinton Welcome Center here, where I am in charge of some of the front of house. We have an arts nook that I've created, an art wall, and Barb was one of my first artists to hang on our wall. So I'm happy to have her here again to talk a little bit more about art in the region. So let's start, Barb, with a little bit just about the Greater Port Clinton Area Arts Council. Can you just share a little bit with us about the group and what it does in the region?
Sure. The Greater Port Clinton Area Arts Council, a long name, became a nonprofit in 2009. And one of the dreams was always to have a home because all of the volunteers, board members, worked out of their homes, each other's homes. And so in 2020, Carol Morgan, who's the previous president, and Johnny Myers-Debink, who was a previous board member, mentioned to the mayor that they would love to have a home. And a week or so later, he called them and said, we have this building that was built in 1935 and used to be the city service building, and we aren't using it, so if you would like to have your home there, we can work that out. So for $1 a month, for 99 years, we have a lease at the old city service garage of Port Clinton. It's 9,000 square feet, and it was interesting to see it empty because now it is completely filled with art and people.
It literally was a garage.
It was a garage. And that's kind of why it's called...
Who came up with the idea to call it the Arts Garage? Do you remember that?
Yes, we had a group of people that I actually facilitated the group to come up with a name, and we had 2 meetings, and we just explored different ideas. We listed lots of words that were art words, and we just kept coming back to, it's a garage, people.
So can you walk us through what visitors to the Arts Garage can expect to experience when they visit?
The Arts Garage at 317 West Perry Street is 9,000 square feet, and at this time we have 18 resident artists, and they are painters, potters, sculptors, stained glass window makers, and other things. So there is really a variety. There is always an exhibit with art for sale that changes every month, and we have a reception once a month that is open to the public of new exhibits. People might see kids in there taking classes. We have a grant from the Rotary Foundation, the Port Clinton Rotary Foundation, of $5,000 a year to provide classes to children in Ottawa County. So the kids don't pay anything for the classes. We supply the instructors and the supplies. And so we have classes for adults also. I don't know if you remember the old ceramic Christmas trees that were oh so popular, and the old ones are selling for like a couple of $100. now, but we are having a class and we are sold out practically. Our potter's going to teach a class to adults of those trees. So you're likely to run into somebody you know. You can visit with the resident artists that are there. They like to talk to the people that come through and share their art. We also have events. We have an annual festival and we have an annual fundraiser. But your question was, what will people see when they come in? So,
well, so you mentioned the Christmas tree craft, and that actually does really resonate with me because I am a lover of those ceramic Christmas trees. I have one that my mom made. So that's, one of those really cool things that people can make and then pass down, through the generations.
So you might want to take the class.
Yeah. The Arts Garage. What are the typical hours for the Arts Garage? Like, when can people visit?
We are open Thursday through Sunday from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. And it's completely run by volunteers. So we would love to be open more, but right now we are plenty busy with 11 a.m. until 4 Thursday through Sunday.
And is that year round?
That's year round.
Is there any cost to visit?
Nope, it's free to come in. And so, but if you want to purchase something, we have a point of sale way to pay if you want to purchase something that's on exhibit or from one of the artists.
Very cool.
So it's a good place. See, we're open all year so that people can play and stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned some of the different classes, and I know that we've gotten this question here before at our Welcome Center. Do people have to be a resident of Ottawa County in order to participate in those classes?
No, absolutely not. They can go to our website, gpcaac.org, and sign up for classes.
And that's the best place to see all of the classes that you offer, correct?
Yes, we also have our Facebook page, and we list them on our Facebook page, and we have a board at tag that lists all of them as well.
Great.
And we do press releases, so we send those out and list our classes that way as well.
And I know we try to list them on our website for you, too. So several places people can find them.
Yes.
What kinds of classes are there? So you mentioned ceramics. Like, are there painting? Are there classes in different mediums? And are there both adult and child classes?
There are both adult and child classes. And we have painting classes. We have pastels, acrylics, and oil classes and watercolor classes. So there's really a variety of painting classes. And then we have a lot of pottery classes. There are a lot of people that are interested in pottery. And for the kids, we have two especially fantastic instructors. Diane Chaplin is a former art teacher, and she has created some really fascinating classes. She had kids in one class do a Jackson Pollock painting. So they got to throw paint. And she also had them do a pointillism class. And the last class that she taught was drawing, and she gave everybody a picture of a horse, and then she told them to turn it upside down and draw it. And it's just fascinating to see how kids are focused when they are there, and adults also. I mean, they come to learn, and they are already interested in art, and so it's a pleasure being able to see people grow and learn about art.
I would also assume that some of those classes would have some kind of fees involved, because of the materials needed. When people make reservations, are they paying for those classes online, or do they need to be prepared to pay for whatever they're making when they visit?
Typically, these supplies are included in the price of the class. If somebody has their own oil paints and wants to bring them, then the fee stays the same, and I think our fees are really quite reasonable. But yeah, there is definitely a fee, and that's listed on our website.
So you mentioned also, in addition to the classes and the working artists, that there are special exhibits. Do you know what exhibits are coming up for the month of November and then also for December?
We have a fabulous exhibit coming up in November. It is Hope Berger. She is an incredible abstract and realism in a way. She does people most of the time, and her colors, choices, her designs are just incredible. She is going to be at the Arts Garage from October 31st to December 1st, and we have our reception November 2nd.
That's awesome. That's this weekend.
It is coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very soon, yeah.
Time goes by so fast. So anyway, her work is incredible. And then the December exhibit is the Port Clinton Artists Club. And so that will be a variety of artists, but that will be from December 5th until December 29th with a reception December 7th.
What happens at the reception?
Well, we introduce the artist. We have some hors d'oeuvres and some cocktails. And it's an opportunity for people to meet the artist and for the artist to invite their friends and family to come and enjoy the notoriety with them. Hope's theme is headspace, emotions, memories, and the subconscious. And so she, I think, will draw a nice crowd because she's pretty well known.
So you guys have so many different events going on. It's great. Are there any other special events or any big initiatives that are going on through maybe the next year that you would like to touch on?
Well, we are also working on renovating the building. So we've done a lot of fundraising. We just had some new windows put in, and we are waiting to hear from the construction companies about when they can do more windows. So we probably will be closed in January, but we have Matt Ritter, who's a local artist, who's going to have an exhibit in March. And so we're kind of working on all of our plans right now and trying to get the timelines organized, because the windows are from 1935 also, and so they really need to be replaced. Yes. And so that's kind of what we're working on. But we all have a lot of interested people, artists that are interested in having an exhibit at TAG. Some we're really trying to expand beyond Ottawa County to have some artists from other areas of the United States come. We did have a fiber artist that was here in September, and her work was really interesting. She does fiber art portraits on looms from 1950. So we do have a lot of interesting and fascinating things going on.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Barbara, Brian mentioned that some of your artwork is on display at our Welcome Center. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do? What kind of art do you create?
Yes. I kind of vacillate between pastels and oils and abstracts. A lot of my pastels and oils are landscapes or people, but I just recently started doing some abstracts, and I'm really having fun with that. It's really interesting, and boy, your imagination can just really go beyond what you ever thought.
We had a lot of fun with your abstracts when they were here asking us what they saw in them as they were coming in. It was really neat to see what people saw in the different shapes and paintings.
Yeah. And that is interesting about me, is that when I do the abstracts, it seems like faces just pop out no matter, what my intention is. There seems to always be some kind of a creature or a person in them.
Do you work at the Arts Garage when you're creating?
I do not. I have a basement studio in my house, and so I usually do my work there. But since I've been president of the Arts Garage and the Arts Council, I've been really busy and haven't done as much of my art.
Oh.
But I'm sure I'll get back into it.
Well, you need to exhibit it there.
Yeah, I think I am going to have an exhibit this next year. So I think one of the most important things to share about art and being an artist or just dabbling in art is how it stimulates the imagination, and it makes you more observant. You can problem-solving skills are better. It just reduces stress. It's a kind of a meditation. You know,
Absolutely.
when you do your art, it's like, Brian, when you work in your yard, you have the most beautiful flowers. It's kind of the same thing if you're a gardener, or, you know, it just is a hobby that helps you relieve stress and enjoy the moment.
That's great. And thank you for the compliment. Yeah, I've always viewed gardening as kind of art with an unruly medium that is alive, so it goes where it wants. But we're still creating art with the colors and the shapes and the flowers. So that's a really neat a connection there. I think they're very similar.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with us about your group, about the Arts Garage, about the Artists Club, the Art Council, any of that?
We rely on donations to do the renovations of the building. We have to replace all of the windows, and the building needs a new HVAC system. And we have one bathroom that probably is from the 1950s. And so we are raising money to make sure that we can do all of those things. We also, because we're in a flood zone, we need to raise the floor 8 inches.
Oh, wow.
And so that's going to be a considerable cost. But we're working on the windows and the HVAC right now.
And how can people donate for that, Barbara?
People can donate if they go to our website, gpcaac.org, and click on donate. So our website is pretty easy to get around. All of the items are at the top of the page, and if you just click on it, then you will find classes, exhibits, and a way to make a donation.
Yeah, I see that. I'm actually on your website now. You can learn all about the organization, the upcoming classes. There's a really nice calendar. And also what I like about your different classes, some of them are weeknights, some of them are weekends, some of them are during the day. There's really a great variety here. So that looks like there's a time in a class, that should fit into most anyone's schedule. And if somebody is from outside of the area, make sure that you check it out. Make sure that you are planning that as part of your visit to Shores and Islands, Ohio.
Very good. Thank you. Yes. Come and see us. We are very welcoming, and we have a lot to see.
And as someone who's been in the Arts Garage multiple times and actually performed some music there as well, one of the things that I'll add to what Barb has mentioned is I think it's really interesting if you go there here and there, the changing in the art that's displayed, the change in the artists that are working there. There's always something different and new that you get to see each time that you stop by TAG.
Yes, thank you for saying that.
I love that. So, Barbara, can you one more time give us that website URL?
Absolutely. gpcaac.org. And that's Greater Port Clinton Area Arts Council.org.
And we will make sure that website is in this episode description as well, so the listeners can find it. Thank you to Barbara Radabaugh from the Arts Garage for joining us today. And Brian, thank you for joining me as co-host this week. Of course, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a minute of the action here in Shores and Islands, Ohio. You can also find more information, including past episodes, online at shoresandislands.com. And we'll see you next time on The Shoreline.